Reflection of points. So reflection is a type of transformation that has a line in which the shape has been reflected from. So every point of the shape is the same distance from the reflection line as the corresponding reflected point in the reflected shape. So first we're going to look at this in terms of just points to make it a little bit easier before we move on to shapes. So example 1, what are the coordinates of the image z prime under the reflection across the y-axis if point z is 2, 5? So let's go ahead and plot this point z. So let's go, here's our origin. Remember, this is x and y. So we need to go over 2 and then up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, it is saying that we are doing the reflection across the y-axis. So let's go ahead, just kind of make sure that this is our y-axis. Now, if we're doing a reflection, it's just going to be the same distance from this line here. So we just, if it's over 2, then it needs to go over to the left 2. So 1, 2. So notice this is our z prime and this is our z. The x-axis the x coordinate just changed. It went from positive to 5 because it's still 5, and then z prime, is going to be negative 2, 5. Now let's do another example. Example 2. What are the coordinates of the image z prime under the reflection across the y-axis if point z is negative 3, 2? So let's go ahead and just make sure so this is the y-axis, right? Now let's go ahead and plot point z, which is negative 3, 2. So negative 3 is going to be to the left on the x-axis, so 1, 2, 3. And then up 2, so 1, 2. So that's where our point is, so that's point z. Now we need to plot z prime. So let's go ahead and plot it. So it's going to be on the opposite side, so it's going to be on the right this time. So now we need to go over 3, because this is over 3. We just go over 3, and we end up right there. Let's draw that as green. And then we have z prime. So our z prime, is going to be 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be positive 3, and then up 2. So notice, once again, when we cross the y-axis, we just changed our x value from either positive to then negative or negative then to positive. Now let's do another example. So example 3, what are the coordinates of the image z prime under the reflection across the x-axis if point z is negative 3, 2? So we're going to do the same point, but this time across the x-axis. So let's go ahead and just draw that line. Now if we plot point z, let's go over, so z is negative 3, 2, so we go 1, 2, 3, up 2, so we go here, that's our z. Now if we're going to do our reflection, if this is the mirror, we're going to go as many points as this is away from this line, we're going to do it on the opposite line. So this is away 2 spots, we go 1, 2, draw a point there, and we have z prime. So what's the coordinates for z prime? Well, z prime is then, we still have a negative 3 for the x, but now we're going down 2. So that means our y is going to be negative 2 instead of positive 2. So notice when we went across the x-axis, then our x value stayed the same, and our y value changed from going positive to now it's going to be negative. Now let's do another example. So example 4. what are the coordinates of the image z prime under the reflection across the y-axis if point z is -4 and -1. So let's go ahead and plot our point z. So point z is -4, -1. So we start at the origin, go over 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 1. And that's a point right there. Now we're going to cross the y-axis, right? And so our y-axis is right there. So we need to plot it across. So we need to go as many points as that is away from that axis to the other side, which would be on the right. So that's over 4. We need to go over 4 from here. So go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our z prime. This is our z. So z prime then, what's the coordinates? So we go over 4, so that's positive. And then down 1, so that's -1. And that would be the coordinates.